afternoon, brothers and sisters. Ami Tofo. I'm Bi Hong and my Dharma name is Chao Li. Welcome and Kan En for being with us.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Li Yong. My Dharma name is Che Kwan, and we are back. Brother C.S. Lee.
CS, are you there?
Yeah, sorry. Hi, everyone.
Share your video. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm back again and glad to be here to do sharing with all of you again today. Okay, see you later.
Good afternoon, brothers and sisters. Amitabha. I'm Hotline and my Dharma name is Wei. Glad and grateful to be with you all again.
Hi, I'm Chris. I'm back here again and so honored to be able to share Master Cheng Yin's book again. And we continue the book Infinite Teachings and Infinite Meaning. See you later. Over to you, Sister Bihong.
Kan En, everyone. Today we are sharing on this book titled Infinite Teachings, Infinite Meanings by Dharma Master Shi Zhen Yan. Part 2, Chapter 6 talks about Turn the Great Dharma-Wheel. The Dharma, like water, cleanses away impurities. I try to show slide. Okay. Bodhisattvas use all Dharma to treat all hearts. Just as water can clean away dirt, Dharma water can cleanse the defilements from the hearts of sentient beings and lead them to realize their intrinsic nature of goodness. We all have purity in us, just like the Buddha. All of us can be future Buddha. But our mind are covered with layer and layer of dust, which causes to have defilements and bad habitual habits, bad habitual tendencies. So we need the Dharma to get rid of all these impurities, just like a mirror covered with layer and layer of dust. We need to wipe away all this dirt so that we can see our true reflection, our own reflection. And what causes all this is because of our threefold karma causing 10 evils. Body, speech, and mind. 3 from the body, which is killing, stealing, sexual misconduct. Speech, lying, gossip, flattery, harsh words. And the mind, greed, anger, delusions. We need to have ethical conduct. That means we need to practice right speech, right action, and right livelihood. And then for the mind, we need to have wisdom and samadhi. That means we need to practice right view, right thoughts, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. And basically, because this means that every action we have to face our consequences. So we need to be very careful with our speech and action. That means we need to practice ethical conduct. The Buddha said in the Upajjhapakkhana Sutta, subjects for contemplation, that each person should realize, I am the owner of my actions, heir to my actions, born of my actions, related through my actions, and have my actions as my arbitrator. Whatever I do, for good or evil, to that will I fall heir. So basically what this means is we reap what we sow. So every action has its effect and consequences. If we do good deeds, we will have a good karmic affinities. If we do bad action, then we will suffer negative retribution. So after understanding this law of karma, the cause and effect, I dare not intentionally do wrong action or wrong speech. So I need to be more mindful. Being ordinary people, we tend to make mistakes. Thus, Buddha taught us to dig the Dharma water through the practice of repentance, which really needs lots of practice to overcome our habitual tendencies of greed, anger, delusions, arrogance, and jealousy. Like myself, when Last time I get very angry when people overtake me from the left. But through time, through days, weeks, months, and now if people overtake me from the left, I say, okay, no big deal. I don't get angry anymore. What about the rest of you? Do y'all feel the same way?
It doesn't bother me very much.
It doesn't bother you very much. That means basically you're a nice person. I used to be very quick tempered.
Sorry, Bi Hong, I probably is the one that overtake you on the left. Used to.
Naughty girl. Okay, so basically this is what we have to do, be mindful of our speech and action. But in our daily life, do you come across bad people experiencing good life?
Yes, we do sometimes met bad people, but they're having a good life.
Yeah, quite common, isn't it? That's what I observe as well. What about the rest? Do y'all feel it that way? Y'all can type your comments at the live chat, yeah? And or sometimes we see good people suffering, experiencing pain and illnesses. Do y'all feel that?
Yeah, I think although it seems very strange, but then we do see a lot of this style example. But I think at the end, I think the karmic law will explain it, you know, why it is, why it happens in that manner, in that way.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, it's our karma, those that we have created in our previous life or in the earlier part of our life. And sometimes we hear people say, he or she is such a good person. Why is it that his life or her life is so short, passed away so early in life?
Yeah, that's impermanence striking. Impermanence can strike anytime. That's what happened to my friend's daughter. She was 20 years old, having excellent.
Brother Hotline, you say that's what happened? Why I can't hear you properly? That's what happened to you?
That's what happened to my friend's daughter.
Oh,
She
okay.
was having excellent results up to STPM, got enrolled into a local university to study medicine, and had a bright future in front of her. But during her first year, she met with a fatal accident.
Very unfortunate.
Oh, that's so sad. That's why
tragic.
It's so tragic, isn't it? That's what Master always tells us. Seize every opportunity to do good deeds. And these stories of let us realize that life is impermanence and the pain the parents have to go through, you know. So our condolences to the family. Yeah? And next, this Lonapala Sutta explain what this karma is all about. If we add salt to a glass of water, is it drinkable? You can share your answers in the live chat. To me, I felt that it's so unbearable. It'd be too salty, so much salt add into the water. How to drink this water, yeah? So the next would be the same amount of salt if added to a flowing river. Is the water drinkable? It would be nicer to drink, yeah? It won't be so salty. And here, what the salt represents is our bad karma. The bad karma that we've created in our past lives or earlier part of this life. And the water represents the blessings or the good karmic affinities that we have created in our past life or in this lifetime. So if we have many, many good karmic affinities or with so many, many good blessings, then when this bad karma happens, the severity won't be so much. We won't feel so upset or so drastic. Let me ask you one question. Do you think our bad karma can be offset by our good karma? Do you think it can be offset?
No.
Okay?
No.
No. Sister Chukwan said no. That's right.
By principle, you know, we can't. We
Correct.
just have to be responsible for what we have done, you see. But then, of course, if we have done a lot of good things, then we might mitigate the effect and the suffering that we are going to suffer, in this life or even in our next life.
Yeah, I agree. That's true. Because we reap what we sow. Whatever causes that we make, when the condition is right, we will experience the effect. So every cause has its condition and its effect. It cannot be offset. A cannot offset B. So even though we sow a lot of good blessings, creating good karmic affinities, this will help us to bear with the bad karma easier. It's more conducive and more bearable. Yeah. So next, we would like to invite Sister Tzu Kwan to share on some of the stories in this chapter. Sister Tzu Kwan, the screen is yours. Cảm ơn.
Thank you. Today I'm going to share sutras are not just for reading, but for us to put into practice. Speaking against taking action. Sutras are principles, references, and guidance. They are not just for people to read. Dharma Master Cheng Yen said, we have to put into practice and we will not forget. She gave an example of volunteers who went for disaster relief work, and after that, they never stopped talking about the experience, and from the experience, in response to the suffering of others, they feel connected with their suffering. And from there, great love and good thoughts naturally will last. And they will form aspirations and set goals to serve others. Today, I'd like to share with you Nagris cyclone in 2008. In 2008, the said cyclone hit Myanmar, and Tzu Chi volunteers from Malaysia and other parts of Asia went to do relief work. And on the photograph, on top, the two photographs showing distribution of food, and the two photographs below are medical personnel giving medical aid to them. Other than relief work, we also did rebuilding and reconstruction. Myanmar, together with Thailand, Vietnam, and Cambodia, formed the rice bowl of the earth. After the Nagri cyclone, the cyclone brought salt water into the paddy fields. All the paddy fields were full of salt water and could not be cultivated, in consideration of rice being the staple diet of Asians and Burma being a very important agricultural country. Dharma Master advised to give quality rice seeds to the farmers in order for them to replant and cultivate their land again. Tzu Chi gave quality rice seeds to 7,000 farmers. We call them seeds of hope because the seeds are of very good quality. We also distribute fertilizers. Sorry, on the seeds, the yield is 3 times the normal yield, and the fertilizers were specially selected to neutralize the seawater in the land. We see here, sorry, I want to explain. The people sitting on the floor, that was the distribution ceremony. The officers from the agricultural department and the village head and the farmers were there. The next we can see farmers happily cutting home the seeds and the distribution ceremony. And the lower 2 photographs show the harvest. On the lower right is a very special person. His name is Yu Tian Tun. Why? After he attended the ceremony and listened to other talks of Tzu Chi volunteers, we advised him to go on a vegetarian diet, which we did. We talked about conservation, we talked about environmental protection, and he has pests attacked his paddy fields, but he was reminded of what Tzu Chi people shared. So what he did was he prayed. He prayed for the goodness, he prayed for peace, he prayed for reduction of disaster. He spoke good words to his land, and he did not use any chemical or pesticides. At the end of the day, his yield was far better than all the other people. This is what we say about just now. Sister Bi Hong said, we are the heirs to our actions. 3 years after the cyclone, I set foot on Myanmar as a Tzu Chi volunteer because at that time we have set up the Tzu Chi foundation there and the Tzu Chi volunteer chapter. So they wanted people who undertake charity work or visited care recipient in Penang to share. So I applied and was part of the group who went. The first day I shared with them what I did in Penang, and on the second day we were taken to Kamayama Temple. There were 200 nuns ranging from 5-6 years old to adult nuns. These are people from the countryside or the border between Thailand and Myanmar. And the head nun did go to these villages to search for the poor students. She gave education to all of them. And when I went there, there was a big hall. There were no chairs. Students were sitting on the floor, and Tzu Chi volunteer was sharing Jingsi aphorism. They hardly moved. They didn't even turn to look at us. So the discipline. The temple school, the adult nuns go daily to ask for alms, but not the young nuns. We see here the vegetable garden. They cultivate their own vegetables. Tzu Chi rebuilt 3 schools in Myanmar, and this is one of them. The next day, I was taken to visit and distribute school supplies to a village school, the students. The children were very, very small, and they were just about up to my hips. So in order to give the gifts to them properly, I have to kneel down. As I kneel down, I gave the school supplies and I stroked their back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Each one of them, I could feel the bones on their backs. After a few of them, I couldn't control myself. I was very emotional and tears flowed down uncontrollably. Another thing is, all of them, after they receive, they will say thank you in their own dialect. And parents were waiting outside. The parents were very disciplined. There was a gate, but I won't consider that a door, but the parents didn't go inside the school. They were told they have to wait outside, and they actually waited. If we look the 2 photographs on top, they are schools that Tzu Chi rebuilt. The 2 photographs below, they are village schools. When we talk about Myanmar, when we talk about Nagri cyclone, we have to talk about the rice bank. In Tzu Chi, we talk about bamboo bank, which is the piggy bank that we put the coins, loose coins, to give to charity. Actually, after rice was distributed, this man, Yu Ming So, his wife, they were given this plastic container they were not given bamboo. This plastic container is supposed to save whatever they can so that they can give to the poor when they are ready. But they are impoverished. They have no money to give. So his wife thought, maybe if every day when I cook, I put a handful of rice in there, and then after a while, we can give to the poor. Remember the farmer, Yu Den Tun? He heard about the bamboo bank and he heard about the rice bank. So he decided He went back, he decided to do it himself. He not only did it himself, he went to village after village and explained to them, see, you Dentun at the end of the month took a big bag to collect from each household. 3,000 kilograms of rice was collected every month, and it's over 37 villages have supported the cause. So this is Yu Tiantun. This is a story of a handful of rice in Myanmar. This is the power of love and power of action. That's the end of my sharing today. Back to Sister Bee Hong.
Stop sharing. 感恩 Sister Tzu Kwan for sharing your experience in Myanmar. I didn't have the chance to go to Myanmar, but I did go to other like a disaster, like floods charity function. And what touches me is that over there you can see them behaving themselves, the way they are so well-mannered, and there are so many people there, you know, and you see them so just seated in rows and behaving themselves, and they don't make a lot of noise. You can imagine that in places so crowded, it'll be so noisy, but amazingly, the decorum is there. They are so well behaved. And Sister Tzu Kwan for sharing your experience. So next, I would like to share a few stories from this book. Yeah, gratitude towards challenges is a propelling force. Question: how did you deal with challenges of promoting various missions? Do you worry that sentient beings cannot be transformed and saved? So the answer given by Master Cheng Yen: paving a road is extremely difficult. View these difficulties as a propelling force rather than an obstacle. Everything is just a matter of perception. Minor illnesses reminded of life's impermanence. When encountering difficulties, we need to remind ourselves to be diligent. Do not consider difficulties as suffering. Instead, I'm grateful because they pushed me forward. With faith in our hearts, nothing to worry. Everything in the world is impermanent. Have confidence in faith. Have confidence and faith in the self and others. Seize the present and just do it. Our mindset is, from here we can understand that our mindset is very important. In life, when we are faced with challenges and difficulties, we tend to focus on the problem and wondering, why is this happening to me? Or even have self-pity. But Dharma Master taught us to have positive mindset and think of the solution instead and learn from this experience. Focus on finding the solution, have confidence and faith in self and others. And what Master teaches is to seize the moment now and just do it when we know it is the right thing to do. And learn from this experience, because most of the time when we face challenges, we just dwell on it. But if you notice, in every challenges faced by volunteers, when they ask Master for advice, Master has always got a positive things to say about the situation, and we make us learn from each encounter. Just like every living experience is a big sutra for us to learn. So, but nothing is permanent. As long as we are alive, everything can be solved because we have unlimited capabilities. So do not underestimate ourselves. The next scenario is, if you want others to smile, you must smile first. Interpersonal issues at work are hard to avoid, and they affect people's morale. How can we resolve such disputes? What is the best way to communicate? How can we be understanding towards others? The answer is, when we find someone displeasing, that person will also find you displeasing. We are a reflection of one another. To see a smiling face in the mirror, we must smile first. At work, take care of our minds and to adjust our attitudes. Do not spend too much time judging others. Tend to our own responsibilities rather than constant mood swing due to external environment. It is very true from my personal observation that when we see someone displeasing, definitely they'll find us displeasing. Is it true? Yeah, Sister Tzu-Kwan was laughing. Why? It's because we send out this negative energy and they could feel it, definitely. But if we see someone with a long face, try this. You smile at this person, and this person will smile back. Whether he willingly smile back or unwillingly smile back, got offhanded and just smile like that, or genuinely smile. Because I've tried this and it works. And when we do this, it's actually a form of giving because we uplifted their negative feelings to a smile, which is a positive feeling, even when it is only for a few seconds. So we need to put in the right effort to be mindful of our thoughts and do not spend too much time judging others, which I did in the past. Before I joined Tzu Chi, I thought I'm very smart. I always judge, form opinion when I see this, I judge. But now I dare not. After learning the Dharma, I realized that that would be deluded thoughts. So the hardest thing, these things are aphorism, the hardest thing for people to see is themselves. If we want others to change, we need to change first. What do y'all think? Is that true?
Agree fully.
Agree fully. What
Yeah.
about the rest?
Yes, sure.
Sure. Sometimes it's difficult. In the past, when I see something doing something wrong, I just comment or I just pass judgment. But now I dare not, because the hardest thing to see is ourselves. Actually, we are, in fact, worse than what we see, so I learned. After joining Tzu Chi, I become more mindful of my thoughts, my speech, and my action. So the next story, which I would like to share, is wondrous medicine allay our temper. The question is, Master, you once said that keeping our temper in check is not enough. We must also dissolve the anger we have held back. How can we accomplish this? So the answer is, losing one's temper is due to momentary thought. We can slightly adjust our mindset in the moment and consider the 4 ingredients spiritual soup of Tzu Chi, which is contentment, gratitude, understanding, and accommodating. Then our bad temper can easily be relieved. If we can be content and understanding, we will not quibble. If we are constantly grateful and accommodating, we will not get mad so easily. If we apply the 4 ingredients spiritual soup as medicine for our bad temper, our lives will be peaceful, pleasant, and free of worries. As ordinary beings, we are bound to be greedy, and our wants can sometimes seldom be fulfilled. Because we want more and more. We need to let go of our attachment to material things and our ego. We get angry usually because people hurt our ego, our no face, something like that. So we need to let go of our ego. Then we will experience contentment. When we experience contentment, automatically we will be grateful for what we have. With contentment and great gratitude, we will definitely be more understanding and accommodating. That is why Dharma Master Chen Yan taught us to take these 4 ingredients spiritual soup daily. Do you take this soup daily, Sister Tzu-Kwan?
I try.
We try. What about the rest?
We are trying all the time, but it's not easy to do that actually.
knowing something is okay, we understand the Dharma, but to put it into action is not that easy. So from here, we can see this spiritual soup. And one of the aphorism is transform greed into contentment and contentment into compassion. So with compassion, we are able to walk on this bodhisattva path. So next, we would like to invite Brother C.S. Lee to share on how we can be less emotional and 2 or 3 other stories. Brother C.S., the screen is yours. Cảm ơn.
Thank you. Thank you, Sister Bihong. I would like to look for my, wait, I'm looking for my, this, okay. Wait. It seems that I can't share my, sorry, some technical glitch again. You hold on.
No worry, we can see everything on your desktop now.
You got beautiful photo.
Yeah. Sister Bihong, you were talking about contentment and gratitude. The spiritual soups, when I first learned, is this what we call gratitude. And with gratitude, then only we are able to have contentment. So later on, I will be talking about gratitude also. So it was a very interesting subject on the 7th lunar month, where it's an auspicious month. And a lot of people will say that, then I was thinking, this 7 auspicious month is like the COVID lockdown. So yeah, it's like COVID lockdown. CS, are you back? You got your slides yet? So we thought that what can we do to promote the 7 auspicious month in a proper Buddhist learning. So the 7 auspicious month is also about the Earth Store Bodhisattva, who is actually very, very filial. And he wanted to relieve the mother from hell. And he saw mother suffering, and he went to Buddha and asked for advice. So I thought that since the recycling station at the Lambokuda has so many elderly volunteers, it would be good to go around and ask them what are the teachings they have for all these youngsters like me. Those days, how did they, how did they took care of their parents? Yeah. And then, and then what do they have for us? What are the takeaway for us? So it was great. Every one of us, the youngster, we took our phone and then we ran around and approached all the elderly volunteers in their 70s and 80s. And then we start recording a conversation with them. So it was a great takeaway. I learned so much from them just from this simple interaction.
I think instead of waiting for CS Lee, shall Brother Hotline share first, or?
Yeah.
Brother CS, are you okay now?
Myself is okay, no problem.
Yeah, I think Brother Hotline share first instead. Okay, is CS Lee, you're okay now?
Yeah, I'm back. I don't know why all the PPT have been removed. I don't know by.
Okay, good.
That's what our youngsters are for, to teach us how to use our computer.
Oh, sorry. My apology for all the technical glitches. Of course, okay, I'll go into my sharing straight away from these books again, Infinite Teachings and Infinite Meanings. And after we listen to the touching story from Sister Tzu Kwan, now we come back to the books. I will share 3 questions and answers. And the first one is an unpeeded heart. Sorry for the wrong spelling, heart. It's a kind heart. So the question is, isn't speaking our mind having an unpeeded heart? The summary of the answers will be shown here. And I would read the answers, okay? So this is what our Master Cheng Yen answered to this question. from our kind intrinsic nature to be mindful in our speech, to be discreet and tactful, that is having an unimpeded heart. To listen to others attentively and to understand their good intention despite their use of unpleasant speech, that is having an unimpeded heart. Humans are intrinsically kind, but some have negative habitual tendencies that cause them to continually hurt others. Such behavior does not come from a person's intrinsic nature. If you have the mindset that the people you meet can provide opportunities for spiritual cultivation, then when you hear unpleasant words, you will not take them seriously or allow them to cause afflictions. You also will not misconstrue other people's good intention into attempts to hurt you. So the answers are really great, and I have my own personal thoughts, and they are as follow. Of course, to discuss this topic, firstly, we have to fully understand the meaning of the keyword unimpeded. It means without hindrances or being retarded by obstacles. So unimpeded heart means a heart that is open to all kinds of senses, including speech as far as these questions is concerned. So, is speaking our minds or voicing out what we feel and think indicates that we have unimpeded hearts. Explained by Master in her answers, it depends on how you speak and what you speak. Human is considered much more supreme than any other creatures due to their ability to think, judge, command, and decide. Some other living creatures probably are able to do so, but the human still commands a much higher level when utilizing all these abilities. Therefore, all of us need to speak our mind without fear and prejudice. My point here is without fear and prejudice. Some people have no issues expressing their minds, of course, but due to fear or caution of offending someone or parties or certain parties, then they would unconsciously become restrained when they reiterate their minds. Or when they speak their minds, they get biased and skewed towards certain stance and perception. These would surely lead to untrue opinions, or worse, it degrades into fabrications and fact twisting. Thus, when we speak our mind without fear, it means uninfluenced by external factors, and without prejudice, it means neutral and impartial. Only then we have unimpeded hearts. So as precisely pointed out by Master in the answers, we tend to get agitated or annoyed by negative comments about us, or even being yelled at with expletives. Instead, we should alter our mindset to take it as an opportunity for spiritual cultivation, to practice our tolerance and to accept our criticism. True or untrue, with open hearts. I know that this is one of the hardest things to do in life, but this is a process for us to go through to have unimpeded hearts. And the second question is as shown, what is the difference between being willful and being mindful? The answers from Masters, sometimes because of the different courses that the mind takes, there can be a big difference between being willful and being mindful. If we are willfully listening to others, we will often misinterpret their meaning because of our own prejudice. We may even take their word as deliberately trying to hurt us. But if we listen mindfully, we will instead be understanding, accommodating, and grateful for their reminders and concerns. When we listen to others, we must focus on the truth and that are expressed. This way, we will remain calm. We should not misconstrue other people's words and take issues where no harm is intended. Furthermore, in speaking, we must be attentive. Though sometimes blunt words can serve educational purposes, we must be mindful. It is best that we speak tactfully and be straight but rounded. A set square is an angular instrument, but if we turn it gently, we can draw a circle. In the same way, we should appreciate those who are straight with us. On the other hand, those who speak frankly should learn how to express themselves gently and kindly. Then everything will be handled in perfect harmony. My personal thoughts on this topic is, the key words here again are willful and mindful. The differences have been explained precisely by Master in the answer, but I just would like to elaborate that willful usually directs you to take someone's speech out of context, especially when that someone is somebody whom you already dislike of. Then whatever he or she speaks about you, the willfulness will naturally overwhelm your impartial mind, and you would lose the ability to listen mindfully. Under such circumstances, you would absent-mindedly jump into conclusion without pondering the truth of his or her speech. This situation hardly occurs when the speaker is someone we are fond of or trust, but then if we don't listen mindfully, that someone whom we trust might mislead us as well. In the current modern world, where massive information is circulated explosively through various types of media, we have to be always mindful whenever we read, watch, write, or speak. Without mindfulness, we would be easy prey to false information, misinformation, or rhetorical narratives that intend to skew our opinion in favor of the certain individual, parties, or even countries. Among all these aspects, speak mindfully and not willfully is particularly vital. If we speak willfully, then the chosen words and phrases could inflict hurt to the listeners. But if we speak mindfully, expressing the same adverse opinion or comments could be done with kind words, and indirectly, the recipients won't only feel offended, but benefited from what we convey. As a description from a Chinese vocabulary, when we speak, we need to be rounded and smooth. It means the absence of prickly spikes won't cause pain to the listeners. And now I come to the last questions. That is, how can we be less emotional? As you can see, the questions is there. And the answers is as follows from the master. Being overly emotional will gradually narrow our minds until there's no space left. We will then be beset by obstacles everywhere, and both we ourselves and those around us will suffer. Therefore, we should practice broad-mindedness. Do not focus on me. If your eye expands too much, there will be no space for anyone else. Furthermore, do not think that you are always right. If you do, then from other people's perspective, you will always be wrong. And my simple thought is as follows. We finally come to the last topic. It's about being emotional. Being emotional is one of the damaging shortfalls in human's nature. Actually, being emotional is not only confined to the areas stated in the questions. It is not about negative emotion only, but it covers positive emotion as well, like excitement or even ecstasy. Apart from what masters related in the answer, usually when we get emotional, then we tend to be carried away by a certain perception. For example, if you are over ecstatic when you come out top in the exam, you would unconsciously be buoyed by inflated pride that makes you think that you are the smartest, and thus hardworking is no longer primary. On the other hand, if you are over grieved for poor results, the mammoth hopelessness that creeps in would make you feel you are the dumbest and should quit immediately. So this is why, Buddha always advised people to follow the middle path, because all the emotion is actually suffering. So that's all I'm going to share today. And thank you. And back to you, Sister Bihong.
Cảm ơn Brother C.S. Lee for sharing. And just now your sharing talks about right speech. And whatever we say, it depends on how the listener interprets it. Yeah, sometimes good words, we meant well, but the listener may take it wrongly. So the tone of our voice is also important. And from here, we feel that the mental discipline is very important to have the right effort, put in right effort, right mindfulness when we talk, and so that we can have right speech and our right action. So next, we would like to invite Brother Hotline to share with us on refinement and overcoming difficulties. Brother Hotline, the screen is yours. Cảm ơn.
Cảm ơn, Sister Bee Hong. Good afternoon, brothers and sisters. Here we meet again. Cảm ơn for still being with us. So I'm going to be touching on topics for today. Four topics for today. The first will be on the 6-word solution for overcoming difficulties. So let's see, what are the 6 words that Master gives? So Master was asked on how to deal with difficulties. So Master's 6-word solutions are willing to work, happy to bear. Master further added, since we choose the road, then we should walk along it willingly. So Master says we face difficulties happily. And as a Jingse aphorism says, one must overcome difficulties and not be overcome by them. Difficulties can be to a high degree. At the most, we are just shaken, shake like that, but you're still stable. As the Jingse aphorism says, hardships and difficulties in dealing with people and events are a kind of test. Another says, nothing can be difficult when your heart perceives no difficulties. A very fun example will be in the construction of the Hotline City Hospital. There were many difficulties faced, and I'll highlight the 3 major difficulties. One was about the land acquisition. So we have this magic number, 3, 4, 5, 6. So what is this 3, 4, 5, 6 about? 3, because from the time the effort was put in to search for the land until the first groundbreaking ceremony, it took 3 years. Why do I mention first? Because just 2 weeks after the groundbreaking ceremony, the military delivered a shattering decision to Master, saying that they would like to take over the land. The whole world came crashing down for all the effort put in, and now it comes back to zero, to naught. Undaunted, Master and the disciple decided to find another piece of land, and it took around 1 year, so there'll be 4. And the second groundbreaking ceremony was performed after 4 years. And such was a difficult task that some of you may have noticed that in the initial opening ceremony for the second groundbreaking ceremony, Master was not around at the stage because Master was feeling unwell. And Master, in fact, declined the medical experts' opinion from Master to be warded. Then, how about 5? Master mooted the idea of building the city hospital in 1979. So up to the time where the second groundbreaking ceremony was held, which was in 1984, it's already 5 years. Then about 6, from the time effort was put in to first find the land until the completion of the construction of the hospital, it took 6 years. Second, after being able to build the hospital, the other difficulty faced was financial consideration. Now we have this number, 30. During the first groundbreaking ceremony, donations collected amounted to 30 million Taiwanese dollars. But the budget was 600 million Taiwanese dollars. It's still a far cry from the amount needed to construct the hospital. How is Master going to pay for this construction? Master even declined the offer of a Japanese businessman in 1981. That means 1 year after searching for the land. The contribution was 210 million US dollars. Mind you, US dollars. That would have solved all the problem. But Master declined because Master wanted the hospital to be built from the love of the general public, the Taiwanese people. Then by the time the second groundbreaking ceremony was held, the budget had already ballooned to 800 million Taiwanese dollars. This, we now know, was also overcome. The third difficulty faced was expertise constraint. You have a nice hospital, you have all the facilities, but it will come to naught if you don't have the manpower to run it. You need the specialists, you need the GP, general practitioners, you need the technicians, you need the nurses, you need the general staff, and people were unwilling to come over because Hualien is situated on the eastern side of Taiwan, which was considered rather remote. And again, now we know that this has also been overcome. The next topic I'll touch on is still is formed through repeated refinement. So this is about challenge in taking up a responsibility. This was a meeting between the Sejing and Master. They were reporting to Master after they had organized a summer youth camp and the challenges that they faced. One was to lead the participants and to lead a subgroup in the organizing committee. Second was to communicate again to the participants and within the group during discussion. Master told them the word "se" means loving kindness, and this loving kindness is to bring joy to others. But before we are able to bring joy to others, we must be joyful ourselves. Then what's the meaning of Sejing? Sejing is a demonstration of full of loving kindness, compassion, joy, and equanimity. Master told them that the attendees who participated in the camp is good because why? They'll be dealing with different kinds of people and also build interpersonal relationship. Once they're able to attain both of these, then they'll leave the camp with real happiness and fulfillment. And that will last for years to come. And in coordinating the camp, Master told the Sejing that you definitely will face pressure and difficulty. However, looking at the bright side of it is a good opportunity for self-discipline. So Master told them, still is formed through repeated refinement. As for interpersonal matters, Master told them we must maintain an attitude of bodhisattvas playing effortlessly in the world. According to the camp, do not have a competition among one another and making comparison on their achievements. And if you come across any negative attitude, we must ask ourselves, was it triggered by us? Is it because of our negative feeling towards others? Or is it because of our negative speech? And if we were to be scolded or rejected or ticked off, then we need to act in the tolerant and accommodating manner. Further, the interpersonal matters that arise will be good learning opportunities. Observe and analyze them, and it become a good resource for training the mind. So these interpersonal matters is actually a test of our endurance. Master told them, don't punish ourselves for the wrongdoing of others. Another, we must be grateful to confront adversity, so it helps us to improve ourselves. There's a saying that goes like this: wisdom grows through experience. Confucius mentioned that in a class of 3, I will find my teacher. Master's wise words: when you work in an organization, it is a class in life wisdom. Master told them, don't be easily discouraged by failure. Everyone can lead. Be sincere and a great aspiration. And for that, you will find that nothing is going to be difficult. And therefore, you will have confidence in the future. The third is on the principle of utilizing talent. Regarding people, Master told that it's hard to find talented people. And this is mentioned in the Heart Lotus book, chapter 21, that searching for talents more difficult than building a hospital. So we should approach people with an open mind, like what Sister Bihong say, don't prejudge people. For Each one has their own strength and weakness. We should accept that people are not saints and therefore realize that nobody is perfect. So we should practice tolerance and forgiveness for the shortcoming of others. As the Jingse aphorism says, do not underestimate yourself. Everyone has unlimited potential. The fourth is on misunderstandings are incorrect perceptions. This was when two Dharma brothers repented in front of Master, telling Master that previously they bore mutual grudge towards one another, but they have now repented. So Master says, let go is right. For these right and wrong things are incorrect perceptions. Everyone has intrinsic Buddha nature, which are influenced, when influenced by the worldly affairs, results in us accumulating negative habitual tendencies. And with that, we perceive things as right or wrong. Just as Brother Cecily says, we cannot always say that we are right. Appearance of situations create shadows in the mind. And if you clear it, then our mind becomes pure. And for that, you attain peacefulness. As the Jingse aphorism states, the human mind or mundane mind is impure and tainted, cleans away impurity and stain to manifest the Buddha nature. Cảm ơn. That's all I have for today. Over back to you, Sister Bihong.
Cảm ơn Brother Hotline for all your sharing. Yeah, there are so many things which we could learn from Master Chen Yan, yeah, teaching especially in interpersonal relationship. And Buddhism is actually a way of life, how we practice Buddhism in action. Cảm ơn Brother Hotline. So next we would like to invite Sister Chris to share. The screen is yours, Sister Chris. Cảm ơn.
Thank you. Whoops, what did I do? Wait, now it's my turn. Okay, I'm back. Okay. Screen to share computer sound. Yeah, it's the precious month today, Friday. So 2 days ago, to bye lah. So went back to my mother-in-law's house, and she got the joss sticks ready for me, and then we got it lighted up, and then we were just so stationary, and then she said, no, you have to do this, you have to bye all around, you know. So we have to do that, have to bye all around. So the 7th auspicious month, is it all mothers love their babies, but it's the 7th auspicious month lockdown or like a COVID lockdown, because a lot of things you cannot do. So Penang is no longer so green also, so people are getting worried about going out. In addition, we have the Qi Gui, but actually the Qi Gui is very auspicious because of the Earth Store Bodhisattva. He is so compassionate and he has such a great vow to save beings from hell. So we thought that we want to have a good exercise on interacting with the elderly volunteers and understanding from them how in their days, how do they take care of their parents? How did they practice filial piety? And then what they have to teach us, is the younger one like us, how to take care of parents. So we had, so all of us were dispersed out with our handphone, and then we went to interview various elderly in their 70s and 80s. And then Brother Akok was interviewed by, I think it was Brother Jeff. Then Akok says that, nang ului si, nang to be gay ho bebo, you know, don't get what to I how, because he says that those days he didn't earn a lot of money, but certain days when he earned a lot of money, he earned more. He didn't think about giving more, but if he wants to give more, the parents would gently or kindly reject it. But now that he's in his 70s, he think about it, he tears well out in his eyes, and he says that I can't give anymore, you know. Then whatever they want to eat, what we should provide for them. So we were a bit worried because Brother Ajeff's mother has a diabetes and also things. He said, yeah, but why mother would pay her? Because there, Brother Akkad was saying, no, we should still provide them. Maybe not a big portion, but a small portion, because if you don't provide, then again, you would think about it, keep thinking about it. And then in the process, we will say, oh, why actually my baby. So Brother Akkad says that if he has chance to go back, he will treat his mother, I will treat my mother like a treasure. Brother Lien Ping is very satisfied. He said, I'm very satisfied where I am now. My sons, whenever he come back from overseas, he will make sure he make time for me. He will take me out. He will buy the things that I like. And Zanju is a favorite. He never got angry with his father. His father also, his father's father loved them, but he says she cannot recollect any time that he was angry at the father at all. And she always in her younger day, even though she was married, she will make a point to go back and visit the father, and then sayang them, So, and Doris, taking care of the mother who was elderly and getting sicker by the day. She has two sister-in-law. She says that I could have let go of my duty because I have two sister-in-law but I decided to take on and take care of my mother in her final years. And she has no regrets. But she said it is very, very difficult. Just like Chen Xin also said, Chen Xin has a mother who is now 101 years old. The mother is still alive. And she says that, you take care of them for so many days and years, and it becomes the filia becomes a pain, and then you started to become, your voice started to be a bit higher, So Doris and Chen Xin says, when you take care of a little boy or little girl, they grow by the day, a baby grow up. And tomorrow, you know that this baby who is now crawling can stand, and tomorrow can walk, and so on, But older people, when they age, they will get weaker and weaker by the day. And they get slower, and they will get senile, and they'll get more lunchun, So Chen Xin's mother, 101 years old now, is becoming senile. So sometimes when you feed her, she doesn't like the thing, she will just poof out, And Chen Xin will say, wow, suddenly she will become angry, But then she say that she knows she's wrong, and she really repent that, how could I be angry at my own mom, So Junjie was missing from the recycling station. He's actually not an old volunteer. This is a young guy. He disappeared from the recycling center for a year or so, and recently came back, and he was taking care of his uncle, who was actually had a very, very bad temper. Nobody wanted him. Everybody stayed away from him. His brother is in the same house as him. Nobody wants to take care of him. His Junjie says, since I'm the youngest, I'm the strongest, I will take care of him. So I say, your uncle sayang you or not? No, what uncle must mewa pun ibu bo ai sayang lang But this guy take on onto himself the responsibility of taking care of him. The wounds and everything, he would take care of it. So it was amazing sharing. And lastly, I'd like to share about Brother Francis. Brother Francis is with our book club for a number of years already, and he's also our hairdresser for the recycling volunteers. Every month he will give a hair service to them. So he did not have a good relationship with his mother-in-law, or rather with his wife's family, and he wanted nothing to do with it until the mother said, "Oh my God!" The mother-in-law said, came to see him one day and said, "No, my God, So and Francis, being compassionate, decided to switch mindset. So this is Brother Francis, and he's happy with his mother-in-law. And let's listen to Brother Francis sharing.
My mother-in-law, he health condition deteriorating. Care of her. We had family issue also . It's just I wanted to leave everything in my chap ka family but so during the time when I say I was not happy was really I was not happy because I didn't understand didn't awaken then finally I realized hey có chang I gone this problem is actually how I improve myself how I keep and what so after that I realized I think we have become very negative. So I think that this is heaven will to let me at this point of time in my life, living in this physical world, I can awaken in this. This is a precious gift for heaven, and I'm so stupid to reject. So after that, what come again the different way that everything is for me to improve. So okay, so I took upon myself to take care of my mother-in-law. I pangsai iko kia, iko lu kawa kuala lu men kia bo pangsai, lu pang juga cita saya what cinta happy lu please pangsai
So you will be happy.
Yeah, I told her. Yeah, I said I'm very happy. Ku kau ho lu ha, kita ngawat siapa je kia sai. So kan biar kita pang, and then she really did pang and I clean her up, so clean lah je. Ikong kam sia lu ikong wa, pay bo je kia sangat lu kan.
Oh, amazing! Thank you, Brother Francis. It was I edited a little bit lah, huh? So well, it was such a pleasant day, afternoon with you guys. Over to you, Sister Bihong.
And Sister Chris. Actually, I know Brother Francis because he attended our EBSS English Book Study session, and we can see the development, the changes in him, initially because he's English educated like myself. And when he first joined, he has he shared some experience, and later we realized that the changes from the mother-in-law's treatment to him, he sort of like have some issues, and later slowly and being able to do what he's doing now is really amazing. Like the mother-in-law said, so really he's wonderful. And we have so much to learn from Brother Francis. And can earn Brother Francis for your sharing, and Sister Chris for your interesting sharing about the 7th month. In fact, 7 months before I joined Sujin, I heard a lot about all those pangtang, you cannot go out, you cannot do this. What about you?
Yes, cannot go near the sea or go up the hill.
Cannot go to the sea.
The devil will take you.
Yeah, that's true. That's how in the past, I understand about 7th month. But now after joining Sujin, realizing that it's actually an auspicious month. Yeah. So Kanan Sister Chris for sharing on that. So next, we would like to end our session, we would like to share this saying by Master Cheng Yen: a good life is better than a long life. In this life, we have encountered the Buddha Dharma, so we can diligently walk the Bodhisattva path. With the power of vows, we can ascend to the ground of excellent wisdom. Really, I'm so grateful to Master Cheng Yen for starting this organization. And in fact, when Master Cheng Yen started this organization, she don't have any money. And for most of us, if we want to do something and we find it difficult or we have obstacles, I think we would give up. But from here, we learn from Masters that when you have something good, don't give up, because you never know the ripple effect it had. So if Master had gave up, 50 years ago, today we won't be here. So Kan Ern, Dharma Master Cheng Yen, what about the rest? Do y'all feel the same way?
Yeah, the Bodhisattva path is for us to walk on, and I'm so grateful to the elderly recycling volunteer to share their experience, and immediately with all this learning, we could put it into actions. Thank you.
Yeah, if Dharma Master Cheng Yen had given up, there won't be Tzu Chi and there won't be us. Actually, she has undertaken all the hardship for us, and we are eternally grateful.
Yes, so we should take the opportunity, seize the moment to learn from Dharma Master Cheng Yen. Every day is a learning experience, new learning experience. because the destination is still very far away.
And of course, lastly, maybe I should wish a happy 7th month to all of us. Actually, for Chinese, we have this very wrong perception that 7th month is an evil month where all the ghosts, would come out, release from the hell's gate, this and that.
Hey, yes, you think they will get scanned for temperature or not before they come out from hell?
I'm not so sure. But then you see, when we follow the Buddha teaching and when we follow the master teaching, as what master always said, every moment is an auspicious moment. That is very, very true, because I've encountered a lot that I know that some of us are still very superstitious. Like certain days you don't move house certain time, you don't go out to eat this and that. But to me, that is quite ridiculous. If you really listen to Buddha, listen to Master Cheng Yen, then we have to always treat every moment is an auspicious one, and we just go for it without fear. Okay, that's all.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. That's very true. Or anybody else want to share? Okay, so cảm ơn everyone online with us, and cảm ơn to all speakers, and see you at our next session, which is on the 4th of September. Cảm ơn everyone.
Thank you.
And everyone for being with us. Cảm ơn. Bye-bye.
Bye. See you 4th of September.
See you.
Hope to see you all again.